I got into makeup in 2016. At the time, we were doing a lot of vibrant colors, and that's how I did my makeup for a very long time. But over the last couple of years, as I've gotten a little bit older, I have been more drawn into those neutral browns that everyone loves so much, that are so easy to wear. But as the clean girl aesthetic takes on maybe an undertone of meaning that I don't want to be associated with, I was hoping that I could find a makeup brand that had colorful makeup that felt intuitive for me to use and easy for me to use, because I don't really like fussing with my makeup too much anymore. A couple of months ago, I visited my friend Hannah. Hannah has her own channel, Hannah Louise Posted, and I took some things from her declutter bin that happened to be from the brand Violette FR, which led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and today I am here to review the brand for you as thoroughly as I possibly can. There's going to be timestamps down below. This is probably going to be a very long video. I hope you find it helpful, but if you were only looking for a review of a specific product from this line, I would suggest just clicking around down there. If you want to know what kind of reviewer I am before we get into all of this, I look for a couple of things. I look for high performance. My vision of high performance might be different than yours, and I will try to communicate that as we go through. Ease of use is also very important to me. I know that a lot of the times we think we want innovation, but if something is innovative and hard to use, I'm not really interested in that. Or if I just find that it's like kind of hard to use in general, I'm not really interested in that. And I want it to be something quick and effective. So if the product is like hard to use or takes a long time to make look good, I'm not really super interested in that. And finally, the main thing for me as a reviewer is when I am testing product, how often am I willingly going out of my way to use that product? Do I use it a lot, or does it feel like a chore every time I use it? Because there's probably a reason I gravitate towards it or a reason I don't gravitate toward it. High reuse is a really important thing to me, and I will mention that throughout the video. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for giving me a watch. I'm so happy that you are here. I want to thank all of my patrons and members for making this happen. The only way I was able to do that was with their support. Buying makeup like this in mass is very expensive to do, and if I didn't have supporters like that, because I'm not a very large channel overall and I don't make that much money on AdSense, the only way I was able to do any of this was with their support. So if you want to see more deep dive brand reviews from me, that's a great way to make that happen. And every time I do one of these deep dive brand reviews, I reserve my first impressions videos for my patrons and members. So they got information on this in January. I think like on the first day of the year, I posted my first impressions of this. So I've been playing with these products for a couple of months. I know them quite well. A couple of products are almost emptied. One is fully empty, but that's a skincare product. Since I'm bringing up this skincare of it all, I will not be reviewing most of the skincare. There is just one skincare product that I was interested in. I have most of the makeup, I think. I have one of everything with the makeup except for the jelly balm. I did not get one of those because that's not a product I think I would use very much. But there was also originally products that I wasn't going to review that I had changed my mind about and went back and bought. I'm also not reviewing the dry shampoo that she makes or the fragrance that she makes because I don't blind buy fragrance as a point, and I don't think you should either. I think buying makeup online is a little bit different than buying fragrance. You have no idea what something's going to smell like. You don't know how long it's going to last on you. I don't do that. And the dry shampoo, I very rarely use dry shampoo myself. I just wash my hair. That's not a read to the people who like to use dry shampoo. I just haven't found a way to use the dry shampoo in a way that I find satisfactory for my hair. If you made it this far into the intro, wow, you're a brave soldier. Please consider subscribing if you like the vibe over here. We're going to be exploring different kinds of content on my channel this year, so it won't always be makeup reviews. Feeling conflicted about that. I have been feeling conflicted about doing makeup content. It's associated with consumption. This is essentially, even though I bought all of this product, an ad for Violette FR. Like, they did not pay me for this. I paid to do it. And I'm starting to feel a little bit weird about that. That's a little bit weird. Even though I'm not going to like some of the products, this is still advertising. This is still promotion. The brand has a couple of iconic products, but I think they're known for their lip products and their eye paints. And I really wanted to get to know those eye paints. So I bought 5 shades. Boy, are these things expensive. These are $32. They come in 9 matte shades, 8 twinkling shades. And the brand says that they are long wearing, crease proof, and buildable and blendable. Whenever I was making my selections with these, I think 5 is a bit excessive. I wanted to find out if the colorful ones were easy to use and an easy way to keep color in my makeup routine and do that very easily. And I specifically wanted to buy the shade Dew Blue because I think it is the most popular shade of this eye paint. And maybe that's just in my circles. I follow a lot of people who are into very colorful makeup and I'm very inspired by them. And I've heard that it was the best blue in town. So that's why I wanted to try it. But on the day-to-day, what I typically like to do when I'm doing my makeup, when when I feel my prettiest is to do like a couple of brown shades, one in the crease, one to deepen out the outer corner, and then I like to do sparkles on my lid. So I wanted to find out if I had some neutral shades, if I would be able to do what I normally do with regular powder matte eyeshadows to put sparkle on top of them, if that would work. And then because they make twinkle shades, I did want to buy one of those. I will say this was what I was least interested in trying of the eye paints. I think I was right about that, but we will circle back. I am in general not super big on liquid eyeshadows, even liquid topper eyeshadows. I just don't wear them. They're not usually the first thing I choose. I have a couple of them that I do like in my makeup collection, but they don't get a lot of play. They're not my first choice. In fact, these days I'm mostly wearing like single potted eyeshadows exclusively. One thing I can swipe on my lid and it looks like I've done a lot of work with very little effort. And if I am going to choose an eyeshadow palette, I'm typically choosing quad. Single eyeshadow usage is very high in my makeup collection, but not always the liquid eyeshadows. And I think that liquid eyeshadows have actually come a long way, and they have a bad rep from how bad they were in the past. I think it's a more popular makeup category than it has been in the past. So I think all of that has led to us having better liquid eyeshadows. I just think a lot of us who were duped by the old ones are very hesitant to tread into the waters of liquid eyeshadow. Let's start with the two neutral nudie shades. I wouldn't say they're neutral. They're both kind of warm leaning, but I think that these two shades would probably be the most popular and what you might get the most use out of, especially if you have a skin tone similar to mine. I'm not sure about on deeper skin, but they do actually on their website do a great job swatching, I think, almost all of their shades on deep complexion, and a lot of them look very beautiful on the deep complexion. So I don't think you have to worry too much about that. It's just whether or not you would wear these shades. The first shade I have here is Petite Culotte, and I think this is the lightest shade that they have. It was very difficult on their website to figure out like the undertones and stuff, and this looked a little bit cool toned. I tend to favor cool tones in my makeup. I have pretty fair skin. My undertones are a little bit cooler leaning, and I just like to wear lots of like grays and desaturated kinds of colors. So I thought this might be the best one for me for like most regular use. It's a little bit darker and much more saturated than I thought it was going to be as a color, but as a kind of like an eyeshadow base, I think it works. I wouldn't use it as an eyeshadow base. What I would use this shade for is to just put a little color down and blend out the edges to cover any discoloration I have on my eyelids and just kind of like be on my merry way. It does work as a great base if you have like It's Literally Magic sticks from Dose of Colors or like any kind of like shimmer topper. This would be a great base for that if you have a similar skin tone to me. It adds a little depth into your eye as well. So I do really like this shade. I do use an eyeshadow base most of the time, and my eyeshadow base actually has a little bit of pigment to it. I don't really like need this kind of shade. I could just put my shimmer toppers right on top of that and I would get a very similar effect to that. But since I am talking about an eyeshadow base, I have found that these perform the best just on their own. I think that the promise of crease proof is pretty legitimate. I have very oily eyelids and there must be some kind of like clay in these or something. They hold up quite well. I did do a wear test and I'll put that footage up right now of the shade Doux, which the shade's a little bit darker and a lot warmer than Petite Culotte. And this one I feel like I did use more. I think it's more flattering on my skin tone. And like I said, I don't wear a lot of warmer tones, but my green eyes really pop every time I put this on. I also have some eyeliners that are a similar color to this that are like a little bit of a warmer brown, and all of those together will make my eyes just look super green. But in my wear testing of this, I actually didn't see any kind of like breakdown in the creasing until about the 8-hour mark. And at that point, it wasn't even really breaking up. It was just like the oils made that part in my crease a little bit darker, but it wasn't breaking up. There was no patchiness. There was no balding in that area, which is very common for most eyeshadow formulas, liquid or not. That is usually the first thing to go if I'm wearing eye makeup. I've learned a lot of techniques to like make it not happen, but for this to just be a singular eyeshadow and last that long, I think that's really great. One thing I did want to do with these two shades, and the reason I bought them both, was I wanted to do one all over the lid and like one in the crease, the darker shade in the crease. I find that I don't have a lot of control over these, and I am not sure if that is like user error or if that is like just the nature of a liquid shadow. Like you can't get that precision, and that might just take a lot more work than I'm willing to do. So they wouldn't work for that very easy breezy two and done. I would probably use an eyeshadow sticks before these to do that sort of thing. And I have found building them up and layering them them. When you're doing a really blended look like I have on my eyes right now, where I use the purple shade, which we'll talk about in a moment, it looks okay. But if you are like building up and using them as an eyeliner, going over it again and again to get a more strong pigment, that can kind of look crusty and dusty and kind of feel heavy on the eye. I have 4 layers of the purple eyeshadow on my lids right now. It doesn't feel uncomfortable or tight, and I don't think it looks heavy on my eyelids. It just depends on how you're going to use them. Eyeliner, I find that they were a little more finicky to use as eyeliners. Blend out all over the lid just like for a simple look like this. It works pretty well. These actually don't really serve the purpose I wanted them to serve, but if you are looking for just something to put all over color like that will hold up throughout the day, I think these are a really good option. I just don't think that they work exactly the way I want to. I might keep them. I'm not really sure. I just don't choose liquid eyeshadow very often. But since I've already mentioned it, let's talk about this lavender shade, which is called Nuage de Lilas. And like I said, this took 4 layers to build up, and that has kind of been the case with this shade in particular. So I don't know if it's because it's very similar in depth to my skin. So like my skin is really fair. This color is really fair. I'm not sure if it takes more of it to show up on my skin because I am fair, or if it's just like not pigmented, and like if you had a deeper skin tone than me, like the contrast of your skin to the lightness of this color might make it show up easier and faster on your skin tone. But I have found that like 4 layers like minimum for this purple to show up on my eyelids. I think it's a really beautiful color, and it's kind of exactly what I was looking for when I was looking for like soft, easy color that I can just throw on my lids and feel like I've done a lot but like haven't done much. Like I just went boop boop a couple of times on each eye, and then I got this beautiful lavender shade, and I think this is something that I would reach for over and over again. I do really like this shade. I just don't know if it's like super unique. And when it comes to matte shades, I'm not sure. You might have a better time with the about face when it comes to colors like these. I don't think that when it comes to the shade Dew Blue. I have had the displeasure of interacting with the like primary blue shade that about face makes, and oh my god, it's just not a good blue. This is incredible. This color is so gorgeous. Kind of like the lilac shade on my eyes. This Dew Blue shade does need a couple layers to build up. I feel like the first layer also can look a little bit patchy, but as you layer some more on, it doesn't get patchier as you add more. It does kind of like even itself out. This one was my favorite to use as an eyeliner, but it did take a couple of layers on the eye to like kind of use it as like an eyeliner to do like a really sharp, beautiful blue wing with it, which was probably my favorite way to wear it. I wouldn't really wear the Dew Blue shade like I have the purple shade on my eyes, but it's so impactful. I've heard from other friends that this is like the best liquid blue that they have used, even if they do like the about face one. So this would be my recommendation, and if you are interested in this one, this is one that I would like 100% recommend. I think Violette FR absolutely has it on lock whenever it comes to this shade. Like she really put it all into the shade. Like she really did a really great job with it. My suggestion to you, if you are going to use it as an eyeliner, don't use an angled brush. There's something about the application of the angled brush that would like put the color down and then also immediately lift it. So I would just suggest using something like a liner brush that is just like very few bristles, very thin. That was my best way to get it to apply as an eyeliner. When I would wear this shade all over my eyes blended out, and you could probably saw it in the footage that popped up of the application of this, it kind of felt like it was getting everywhere. I like just don't feel like the other shades felt like that, but that is probably because it's like much more contrasty on my skin than the other shades. It's like not skin native. I would say like even the purple is like skin native to me. Like I feel like you can find a little bit of like lavender in my skin tone sometimes, but not this blue. It's just really stark. It's incredible. If you are looking for a colorful look from this brand and you really want it to be intense and poppy, this would be the one I would recommend to you. It is worth it. I think this one is worth the amount of money. Then I have the twinkle shade Bleu de Minuit. I already kind of mentioned that I like translucent, like see-through topper eye sparkle. Like that's what I want. I want my sparkles that I put on my eye to be kind of translucent. This doesn't really scratch that itch, so I had to think about it differently. I think that this one was the hardest one for me to work with out of all of them. And I think it has to do with the shimmer. Whenever I would put this one on, like the first layer, when I would put it on, the sparkles would move and then leave a bald patch. The pigment of the color, not the sparkle, sparkles. There's like, it's kind of like a jelly color. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a jelly sheer blue. Like, you know how there are nail polishes that are like jellies and you can see through them? That's kind of like what the vibe is. It's like kind of like blue, but like see-through. You can like see your skin tone through the blue. And there's something about like, it would like lift the sparkles and then like leave a patch. And then but every time the sparkles would move with the brush, it was hard to use. But I also think I don't like this. I don't think I like this color blue. Every time I would put it on, I'd be like, ugh, I just like don't like that color. As you layer it up, it does like work better and better. But on the website, the way that they show off these twinkle shades, they're like fully opaque and they have like intense glimmer. And I just don't think I ever got that. Even when I would do it very concentrated without like blending it too much, I just like never really felt like it looked like that. I just like couldn't get it to look like they made them look on their website. And that could be user error, but I just don't like the glimmer ones and I wouldn't recommend them. I think that if you have like really strong metallic eyeshadows, those are going to be more pleasing to you to use than something like this. And if you are not into metallic eyeshadows, I don't think that these are easy to work with. I don't think like they elevate the experience of applying this kind of eyeshadow. I just think it really makes everything very hard and the payoff of it isn't really worth it. But I will say, something about whenever my oily eyelids would start breaking through this one, it would look kind of like an oil slick on my eyes. And I did like that. So I think if they made like a black one of this, like just a neutral black with that jelly quality and silver sparkles, I think I'd be into that after I was wearing it for 6 hours, but I don't think I would like it upon immediate application. I don't think that the twinkle ones are worth the fuss of using, but I do really think that these ones are easy to use. The matte ones are really easy to use. They give you plenty of time to blend them out. You can put a dot on both eyes and take your time blending. You can even like smudge it out with your fingers after you have it on your eyes for a little while. And then they do lock down and they stay on your eyelids most of the day. And I think that's really impressive, especially for a liquid formula. I have a feeling that some of you are going to ask how these perform compared to the new Mauve eyeshadows. I have not tried any of the new Mauve liquid eyeshadows, so I couldn't tell you how they compare as far as application and wear time, but they make very similar claims. So if any of you have used both, let us know in the comments if you have better wear time with one over the other. We would love to hear it. Whenever I'm thinking about, is it worth it, especially with the economy right now and everything being really expensive, with gas being really high, do I really think $32 for something like this is really worth it? Only if you want the blue one. I would only say like, this is the one that I think is worth the money, is worth going out of your way for. Definitely, definitely, definitely. The other shades would really come down to whether or not you think you would use them a lot to get the $32 out of. That would be how I would go about thinking about this. Because if you're not going to use them all of the time, then I don't think they'll be worth it. And also About Face makes a lot more shades. I personally do like this formula better than the About Face ones, but those are a lot cheaper. And if you were just going to like play around with something like this, I would go for the About Face ones and see how you like them before maybe like upgrading to some of these. And I don't even know if it would be an upgrade for you. You might get along swimmingly with the About Face ones. You might not need to like upgrade to these. Oh, I do really think that the packaging is beautiful though. They are plastic and quite light, but the detail on the top is just like this weird, are you familiar with Disclosure? Disclosure has this like logo of a face and it looks very similar to that to me. It's just like an outline of like, the pen was never picked up of like a face. It's cool. I do also like that they're see-through because then I can see what color they are inside, and I can also see how much I have left because they are clear, which I do appreciate. It's a good product, but not like a home run for me where I feel like run and get it. The only people I do recommend this to is like, you already like using liquid eyeshadow, it is your preferred way, you mostly are doing one and dones with eyeshadow, then great. But I do not recommend the twinkle ones at all, actually, for people who like that kind of look or people who are maybe trying to be more adventurous and wanted to explore color like I did. I wouldn't recommend this one. I'm wondering now, I don't think in the opening segment I said Violette FR at all. Luckily it's in the title and also in the thumbnail, so hopefully you haven't felt misguided. I haven't filmed in a while. Now that I'm saying the name, Violette FR, they only make one other eye product and it is their Lune Liners. This is $34. It's more than the eye paints that we just looked at, and you saw how much product you got in those. It comes in 4 different shades and it promises 16 hours of wear. Oh boy. This is not a bad product, but I am going to sit here and shit on it for a little bit of time because I just baffled at it. For its size alone, there's only 0.06 ounces of product in here, okay? So for a full ounce of this particular liquid, it would run for $567. That's crazy. Obviously, you don't need an ounce of this kind of thing. That's just so expensive. It's not the same exact effect, but I thought of the Urban Decay heavy metal liners. You get 0.25 ounces of product in there, and they cost $28, so that's already less, and you're getting 4 times the product in the Urban Decay, and it's cheaper. For a full ounce of the heavy metal liners, that would be $112. $400 plus cheaper than this. There are also some indie brands that make a very similar product to this. I think Ulta brand has their own version of this. It comes in the same size, but it's much cheaper. I think Glisten Cosmetics makes something very similar to this. And it comes like a fountain pen, you know, like the brushes in one, and then it's like an inkwell. Here's the thing. I don't hate this product. I don't. It's just not going, I can't, I'm never going to say it here, I justify that it's $34 versus being able to find other similar products to it, where I think that there could be some arguments to buy the eye paints at this price versus the About Face or like other liquid eyeshadows. But this is just like heinous. This is highway robbery. This is you buying a bottle of water at the airport for $10. This is gas being $8 a gallon. Like, there's just no reason it should cost this much. The product is beautiful. Multi-chromes are pretty. You can't say that they're not. I love a multi-chrome. They're pretty. I don't wear them a ton, and I do like, you know, wearing it on the like line of my lids, but like, you could do that with anything. And also, you might not even like the liquid version of this kind of thing. There are plenty of brands that also make gel crayon versions of multi-chrome eyeliners. I think it's pretty. The thing that I like to use it for the most is kind of like glitter tears. I'll just like put it on the lower lash line and like tap it out and just kind of like give it a little bit of a glow to my lower eyelashes. And then I also kind of like to use it as an inner corner if I don't feel like using the inner corner colors available to me otherwise, but I didn't reach for this very often. The one critique of it that I will actually give as far as the product goes, it pulls up too much product on the brush initially, and then I feel like whenever I was painting with the brush, the excess product would goop up on the edges of my line, and then whenever that would harden and dry, it would like look crusty, but then like wouldn't kind of remove. Like, a trick that I use a lot when I'm working with stuff like this or like glitter or something is I'll just take a spoolie and go along the edge to like clean up the line and kind of scrape off the dry parts that I don't want, be it glitter or like a multi-chrome. It didn't really work well for that either. I also am not sure if this is a limited edition product. I bought all of my products around the holiday season at the end of last year, and I think it was marked as limited edition, but it now seems to be permanent. I did check the Sephora website. Sephora's website only carries 3 of the 4 shades. Violette's carries all 4 of them. Ultraviolet Blue, for some reason, wasn't on the Sephora website. It doesn't say it's limited edition on Sephora's website, which they're pretty clear about on Sephora's website these days. It wasn't marked as like limited edition there, but maybe they removed the Ultraviolet Blue because it was. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, I don't recommend this, but in general, kind of, if you are someone who still shops at Sephora and you are interested in this brand, if something's not in stock on Violette FR's website, it will be in stock at Sephora. If you were like really interested in something, like if it's not on the one website, check the other website because it might have it in stock. I feel like a lot of the times when I do that and I check both websites, it's normally out of stock on all of the websites. Let's swing back up into a more positive viewpoint of the brand and move into something that I think could be worth your time if you are a specific person, and it is the Bisou blushes. The Bisou blushes are $36. They come in 6 different shades, and the brand's promises for these is that they provide a natural radiance, they have a skin-like finish, and they're multidimensional in color. So the multidimensional in color is in reference to, ooh, that one, you can't see the multi-dimension. The marbling in the product, you can see that there's like a couple of different colors there. Today I have on the shade Louise, if you wanted to know what shade I had on my cheek. And let's talk about the packaging before we like get into color by color. The packaging is gimmicky. I don't like this. Now, I know that Violette kind of came into prominence. She's a makeup artist, but I think a lot of people know her from her YouTube channel. Her thing kind of would be like, she would go to a random public place and then put on makeup there. So I find that the idea of a lot of the makeup that she makes is like, you could be sitting in the cafe with your coffee and just like pull out your stuff and just like, you know, start putting it on your face. And the blushes have the top, and the gold part is the blush side, which I do like that there's a clear indicator. Some brands will do this and not indicate, and then the bottom is a brush. I don't like built-in brushes. I have better brushes than this. You will never put on a brush that is so good on the bottom of this because this is meant to be disposed of whenever the product finishes its life cycle. And then the other problem is you're not going to clean it. And I think that's a problem. I think a lot of us struggle with remembering to clean our makeup brushes as is unless you're acne prone. People who are acne prone are really up on cleaning their makeup brushes. And if you don't clean your makeup brushes and you are acne prone and you're having breakouts, perhaps you just need to clean your brushes a little bit more. I am someone who am not super acne prone and I sometimes go way too long between cleaning my brushes. Anyway, I'm just saying that we shouldn't promote people not cleaning their brushes, and I feel like that's exactly what this does. And I'm sure that that makes the product more expensive. If it was cut off and it was just that big and there was the same amount of product in it, I don't think people would be mad. I don't think people really want the brush. And in fact, I'm not actually sure that this brush is really useful. It's kind of dense, and I tried it one time and it lifted my foundation, which I didn't like. I wear foundation. Maybe if you don't wear foundation, that would be more useful. If I was sitting at a cafe doing my makeup, like Violette, I would just tap it into my skin and it would work just fine. You know, I'd wash my hands at the cafe bathroom after I get the code from the person who's running the cash register. Go into wash my hands, and then I wouldn't do all that because I wouldn't be doing my makeup in public. But I think that's like the kind of the vibe. You're doing it on a train. You live in New York. You're doing your makeup on the subway. These were the products that I took from Hannah when I visited her. I wasn't sure when I got them if they were too old. Hannah did her review about a year ago on these, and I got them in December. When I first applied these, it was actually on camera. It was like right when I got home from that trip visiting Hannah. It kind of felt like they had hardened on top, but I kind of broke through that. I don't think she had used them in a while. And after that, they applied a lot differently. And then I was like, well, maybe this is like skewing my perception of these because they are old. Maybe they're expired. They have a 24-month shelf life. So I have another good year of using these from after Hannah using them, which I thought was impressive. I wasn't expecting them to have that long of a shelf life, but that's really great. I had been using these for about a month before I got the rest of the products. The first couple tries, I didn't really like this product, but I have come around to them. I would not drag these on. They still are a firm cream whenever you like swatch them. Like they're just like firmer. I think it would disrupt your foundation. I didn't try applying them that way. I think that anything that comes in this should be able to be applied that way, but that is not my instinct whenever I interact with a stick cream product. I will always choose my brush on the tip of it before I will drag it on my cheek. But she does. She says you can. I just don't. It's like I will be doing my makeup and then I've already gotten so far in my makeup process whenever it comes to blush, and it's like, I'm not risking it for the biscuit for this. It's just not worth that. So whenever I went to the brand's website, I kind of got a better idea of what these were supposed to be because I did kind of find them confusing. So they're supposed to just like be a flush of color. And I do think that shade will really matter here, like depth and the shade. I have contrasting shades, like the shade Marnie is really deep compared to this. And a lot of times when it comes to blushes, I can use a deeper shade and think that it looks really pretty on my skin. But after seeing her apply it, I feel like maybe this just matters more. In this case, I feel like it's a blush that's present on my skin, but not overpowering. So it's kind of like a blush for people who don't like blush. Like you can see that I have color on my cheek. I don't think you look at it and you're like, wow, that's a ton of blush. It's very like 90s blush. That's kind of how I feel about it. There are different colors and there are brighter colors, but even in the application footage of the brighter colors, it still looks like this more natural kind of just sitting on the skin, very 90s. There are more like muted colors like Louise in the range, but there's like a raspberry color, there's a red. There's always a red. Although surprisingly not a red eye paint, which is, maybe you should consider it. Although red eyeshadow I don't think is incredibly popular. I know a lot of people who love red eyeshadow, don't get me wrong. I think it's pretty, but I don't think a lot of people are reaching for red. But it's something to consider. There's a hole in the market for it. Violette, that one's free. I've been playing with no blush, less blush, and this is like the perfect blush for that. So it's like if you just want a little bit of color on your cheeks, nothing too extravagant, really beautiful. And if you have a similar skin tone to me and you don't like a blush that's really super present, you will probably really like these. On their website, they talk about having like a skin-like finish and a natural radiance. I powdered my whole face and it does have that gleam that you're seeing. So I would say it has like more of a radiant finish, but I don't think from head on it looks like, you know, some blushes like will kind of look like eyeliner. I don't feel like that's what the vibe is. It's just like kind of when you turn your cheek, I feel like you're getting it. It's really pretty, but I wouldn't say it's matte. So you would have to like something that has a little bit of life to it when it comes to it being on your cheek. I like Louise a lot. But then the shade Marnie. Me and Hannah have similar taste in colors when it comes to blushes. Although now Hannah did a collab with Salt New York, and now every blush she tries is going to get compared to that. I'm willing to wear a little heavier of a color on my cheek than Hannah, and I'm not always looking for desaturated colors. One thing that we have both have had an affinity for historically is brown. So I was excited to try this. I do think on my skin, I fear on my skin tone that this looks a little bit muddy. They make it look really beautiful on fair skin tones on the website, but like it never looked as effortless as Louise looked, and I just think it's due to the depth. And I thought maybe I could use it as a bronzer, but as a bronzer, it always made my skin look really muddy. So I'm not a fan of this shade, but if you have a deep skin tone, I think this would look really pretty on you. I think it would look very similar to the way Louise looks on me. This is why I think color really comes into play when we're talking about this, but this looked really muddy on me. So if you are someone who is fair, who sometimes likes to go for the more pigmented, deeper option because you like a more present cheek or you like the colors that are deeper, I don't know that that will work in this line. At least not for me, not in the way that I like things to look. But I did do a wear test with Marnie the same day I was wearing the liquid eyeshadows to see the longevity of them. It's there all day. It's present all day. It doesn't really fade. I got more oily throughout the day, but it looked really good. So I think these have great longevity, especially for a cream blush, but they are a stiffer cream blush. So if you tend to like really creamy, balmy blushes, I don't think these are going to be for you. If you like a stiffer cream blush, you might like these. Also, they come in a stick form, so like that might also lend itself to being a little bit stiffer than other cream formulas. I don't know that I would buy it again. The packaging is cute, but not like super alluring. It's not heavy like Westman Atelier. There's like not that extra step of bouginess when it comes to interacting with them. Like maybe if the caps were metal and added like a little bit of weight or something, I don't know, maybe there are other blush formulas that I think can give me this at a lesser cost in more interesting shades. I think if you're looking for ease of use and something that looks really skin native, then these are worth a try. If you like bright pops, these are not going to be worth it for you. Like I don't think you would like them at all. Hello, random insert about the Bisou blushes. I was getting close to the end of filming and I forgot to mention this product is heavily perfumed. I don't know why. If you are very sensitive to fragrance, that might be a no-go for you. It does dissipate. I can't smell it on my face after applying it, but I don't know why this is so fragranced. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to go back to the segment that I was filming. One pretty successful cheek product to one... It's not even a fail. I'm a fail, but this is the Baume Shine. This is $28. It's a universal balm highlighter, and it has like a slight golden sheen to it. There's like slight shimmer particles in it. Fancy brands, or brands that view themselves as fancy, love to put out this kind of product. And the reason I think that is because you don't have to make a range of these. Because it's sheer, it's going to be flattering on all skin tones, as long as you like that slight golden sheen. I don't have it on my face today because I don't like it. I don't like this type of product. But I did want to try it. For what it is, if you are into this sort of thing, it's an okay version of it. I don't even think the brand likes this product. Look at this packaging. Okay, and then if you look at the Bisou, there's like a little bit of something to it. And a product we're going to talk about in a bit, there's a little bit of gold, and then the lip nectar. Like, they're like it's a packaging of everything else. There's like something to it. This one's just beige. And it comes in the same packaging as the Bisou Balm, except the Bisou Balm has the golden lid. And this is gold on top while the Bisou Balm isn't. And that's to differentiate if you only use Violette FR products. I don't know. It's just not it for me. Because the brand doesn't put like weight in their products, which is fine. I like a heavy feeling product, but this is such a simple product. There are different balm highlighters at every price point. Why would you spend $28 on it? It's not like it's an interesting shade. Victoria Beckham, which is a brand that has similar vibes to Violette, in my opinion, they have a product similar to this, and it comes in like this gold, beautiful packaging. And it's like, you know, very kind of gauche looking. And like, at least that's exciting, you know, like it's like, at least that's an exciting presentation of this kind of thing. I don't buy from Chanel anymore, but my favorite version of this type of product is the Chanel one. I'll grab mine. This is their Balm Essentiel. This is like metal. It's like luxe sealing. It's heavy. You get more product in it. Like, this is like something I want to carry in my purse and I touch up with throughout the day, because that's the other thing about this kind of product. All of that balmy goodness is going to melt into your skin, and it should. Like, your skin should receive it. It's going to make the high points of your cheeks look really plump and juicy. And like, I feel like a lot of us, especially as you're getting older, the texture, that's like where a lot of texture is, right? Where you smile, like that's where things crinkle up. And so having a little bit of extra plump there is like not a bad idea. When it all dries, you're left with a slight gleam of sheen of that gold, which is pretty, but then it's like you probably would want to apply it again, and it's just like, while this would be nice and light in the purse, it's just like, I don't know. I wouldn't buy this product from this brand, and that's all I'm saying. It's not bad if you like it. Like, if you like balm highlighters, then you probably will like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't lift foundation whenever I put it on. It is pretty, but you could also get this from Westman Atelier, and like you could get beautiful packaging with it, and it could be like a full moment, because I don't think that these products are very exciting otherwise, so why not make it a moment if you're into it? This doesn't feel like it wants to be in the moment. All the other brands are more expensive, and I know that I'm just saying, like, I don't like this type of product, but if I were to buy it, I would buy a more expensive version of it. But that's just simply because, like, for me to want to interact with this kind of product, it needs to have an appeal beyond it just being a balm highlighter. I don't know if it's lip safe, but I have been putting it on my lips. It is pretty as a lip balm, but it's not like nourishing as a lip balm. Like, it works. Like, it's not uncomfortable as a lip balm, but also there's so many other lip products from this brand that are better than that if you wanted to have a lip product from this brand. So that one's a solid no for me. I don't recommend that one. Now that I've evoked the word lips, we're going to start talking about lip products. This is just kind of interesting in general. Most of the brand is made up of lip products. They have many different formulas in lip products, which is just kind of interesting to me. And I think it's interesting because Violette does not offer a ton of products. For them to offer 6 or 7 different lip formulas, it's impressive, because like a big brand like NARS or Rare Beauty or Charlotte Tilbury having like multiple lip formulas isn't special because they have also a million other products. But for this to have a smaller amount of SKUs, and then many of those SKUs being specific lip products, I think that's interesting. I don't know. So my thought process whenever I was like getting all the stuff was like, these lip products must be incredible because she has put so much time and effort into many different lip formulas. I know also that the brand Violette's French. I've never been to France, but if you've been to France, it's like, are we doing a lot of strong lips? Is that what we're doing? Anyway, I'm not really sure. So at first I only bought a couple of lip formulas, and then I was at Sephora swatching stuff, and I liked a couple other shades. So let us talk about whether or not I think her lip formulas are worth it. Let's talk about lip prep, or I don't know that she would describe it as lip prep, but this is lip prep. It's their lip balm. It's the Balm Amour. This is $26. There's only the clear version. The brand claims that it restores and replenishes, softens and smooths, and increases lip volume. This was not a product that I initially tried. So if you were on my Patreon, you did not see me interact with this. I follow a makeup artist on Instagram. I think she's on TikTok. I don't know if she makes YouTube videos. I'm gonna link her Instagram down below. She's a working makeup artist, and she showed how she preps the lips of her clients, which is really interesting because lip prep is, I think, underrated. I always am putting something very thick on my lips when I start filming a video or when I start doing my makeup, and then I will finish with a lip product after it's been on my lips for a while. But this was part of her lip prep and wasn't one of the reasons I went back and was like, okay, let me give it a try. I have been sick the whole month of March. You probably can tell there's been moments of filming where I've got congested at the end of a sentence. My voice is mostly fully here, but I've been sick, so I've been dehydrated. So I've been using a lot of lip products. If you watch my channel at all, you probably know that I really enjoy the ones from Edam, and those have been my like ride or die lip balms. So I bought this mostly because I saw someone else say that they liked it, and I was like, well, maybe I will too. This is interesting because it has a different applicator than I've ever seen. So this is what the applicator looks like. And it's not plastic, it's actually ceramic. I actually think that the ceramic gets colder than the metal on the tip of the Edam lip balms. But while I have them both up here, I think it is worth noting this only has 0.33 ounces of product. The Edam lip balm has almost a full ½ ounce of lip product. So this is more expensive per ounce. And I think the Edam ones are only $24. So cheaper, and you get more product in it. That's just something to note. I don't know that that means anything negative. I don't know that a lot of lip products have a full ½ ounce in them. I think that's just props to Edam for that. I've been loving the Edam one. I didn't know that it claimed to increase lip volume, but once I saw that claim, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to feel like my lips are fuller. So here's what I will say. Comparing it to the Edam one, because I don't get really super excited about lip balm, and I know that the Edam ones are popular outside of my sphere too. I know like a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram who aren't influencers use them because they saw influencers use them, and they seem to be really popular. So I'm going to use this as kind of a comparison point of this. This is much thinner than the Edam ones, but it also does similar work. So if you have tried the Edam ones and you didn't like how thick they were on your lips, this is a much thinner formula. As I said, I've been sick and dehydrated and my lips have been dry and chapped. This did the trick. Not on the first application, not on the second application, but by the third application, my lips felt so full that it felt like they didn't have lines on them anymore. There is lactic acid in this, so it is gently exfoliating. Lactic acid is like the second or third to last ingredient. It's very low. I believe there's also lactic acid in the Edam one. Every time I applied it, after I got it to like my lips being normal and not super dry from being sick, oh my god, godsend. Like my lips look so good with this and I love applying it. I do prefer that ceramic applicator. It is much smaller and I think because it's clear, it doesn't feel as messy as the Edam ones, but I really like it. There's just something about, I'm gonna just apply some, why not? I'm gonna apply some right now. So when it says that it makes your lips feel fuller, I don't think it's like a lip plumping agent, but it did actually, after wearing it for a little bit of time, I did feel like my lips felt fuller. I can't prove that. I don't, like your lips can be like plumped for like brief periods of time, but like without filler, there's not like a more permanent solution to that you can do topically. But my lips did feel fuller once I got going with it. Like I said, it was a slow go. The first time I applied it, I was like, ugh, I don't think this is going to do anything. But I stuck with it. And by the third application, it was just like my lips have felt incredible. They felt as good as they do whenever I use the Edam one. So kind of how I'm feeling about it. When my lips are in worse shape, I probably will use the Edam. But whenever my lips are like in okay shape, I will apply this. But because I was using it a ton while I was sick, I was running through it quite quickly. I still have product in here, obviously. I just applied it on camera, but I am almost done with it. I bought this at the end of March and it is April 11th as I film this. So I did use it kind of fast, but I think if I wasn't sick and dehydrated, I wouldn't have gone through it as quickly, but that is also something to note as well. But I really love this and I will buy this again. I think it's on par with the Edam, and I think the main difference of them is that thinness of this. It's not like super thin and runny. Like obviously it did take a couple of tries for it to like take on my lips, I feel. But if you like a thinner formula, I would go for this if you want like as bougie of an experience of using the Edam lip balms. This is really good. I will pay $26 for this again. Obviously, not everyone wants to pay $26 for their lip balm, but I do think it's worth it. And I like the way my lips felt. It's so pretty. It has like a little bit of a vanilla scent. It's kind of sweet to put on the lips. Now that we're this far in the video, I had to edit something back into the blush part that I forgot to mention. Another product that my patrons and members didn't get to see a preview of because I bought it later is the lip Nectar. These are $29. They come in 6 shades. The brand claims that this is a long wearing stain, provides high shine, and is a hydrating formula. I don't love lip stains. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you probably know that. I begrudgingly will try them if I get them in PR, but I'm not really ever going out of my way to buy a lip stain. I have tried them in the past, and I also have tried these very popular right now in the moment glossy lip stain formulas. I've tried a couple of those as well. I believe that this kind of thing is really popular in K or C beauty. A lot of Asian brands have been doing this for a while. And then it seems like American brands caught onto it, and also the French brand Lilas. So this is not like a revolutionary formula type. You will see these in other parts of the market. I got the ones from Trixie Cosmetics and PR, and I did not like them, but that had a lot to do with, well, yeah, I just didn't like them. I didn't like them. And I always write off lip stains as a thing I don't like. One of the main reasons is that oftentimes the color of the stain that is left is not desirable to me. Like, I don't like the lip stain, the color of the lip stain. They're always like reds and bright pinks, and there's not everything that feels like neutral-ish or even like close to neutral. And when I swatched these in store and I dabbed off the product, I really liked the color left behind by this one. This is Dahlia Noir, and it's kind of like a plummy stain color, but on my lips and on my skin tone, I find it very flattering and kind of like very pretty. My problem with lip stains is that oftentimes my lips are chapped or in bad shape, but I know for lip stains I have to exfoliate the crap out of my lips in order for the lip stain to apply evenly. Even when my lips are at their best, I find that lip stains, I just can't get them to work. I can't get an even application of them. I don't love them. This one though, it just applies really beautifully. And I can't say anything else about it other than like the stain applies evenly without me really even trying very hard. It doesn't feel like I'm at a race to apply everything evenly before parts of it dry and then I have a darker part versus a lighter part. Like, it's just very easy. Not only that, it's the only lip stain that I've ever put on my lips that has felt comfortable to me. And I do mean that. Like, I just think that like, even after the gloss fades, my lips still feel comfortable. With the Trixie ones, if I would dab off the glossy part, it felt like my lips would still be tight as if I put a lip stain on it, like super dry. I just don't like that. I also don't care if my lip product fades off throughout the day. I'm not incredibly fussy about my lip products. That's one thing to know about me. And oftentimes I will do a lip look in my home and then I will just take a clear gloss or a sparkly gloss or a nudie gloss with me. I'm not going to reapply the lip combo. There's one thing about me, I don't care that much. So what's actually more important to me is that it fades beautifully. And even though it's a lip stain, I don't think that this has the longest longevity of a lip stain, but I think it's more comfortable for that. So this kind of, to me, feels like a lip stain for people who don't like lip stains and also do not care about the lip stain actually lasting. They just want some color to be there after the gloss fades, and I think this is like perfect for that. And also reapplying it, it's not fussy. Sometimes applying a lip stain again after some of it has faded or fallen off, it can feel scary to reapply. You don't have to worry about that with this. It's really nice. If you apply multiple layers of it, you will get a darker stain, but I like the stain at one layer and I just really like it. Here's what I will say though, there was a bit of a learning curve of applying it that I like. It took me a second to realize, but applying from the center, like getting the most product off the doe foot in the center and then kind of like blending outward to the outer portions of my lips is how I really liked to wear it. This is my favorite lip stain I have ever tried. I think if you're a lip stain pro, you're looking for a bulletproof lip that's gonna last all day and all the activities you're doing throughout the day. I don't know that this is really it, but it's really easy to reapply, so you can always just take it with you and reapply. I think the bullet is very bespoke and chic. I like the way it looks. I like everything about it. I like it. Well, I've already paid $29 for this. I would buy more colors of this. I am not a lip product person. I have not historically been a lip product person. I have definitely come across some favorite lip products over the years. If you've been here, I'm not really often buying lip products for review, especially these days. A lot of the lip products that I have come across that I really like have come in PR and I'm like, well, wow, I really like this, but I'm not really always in search of lip products because I often do the same lip combos over and over again. So that's another thing is like, I'm just very rarely buying lip product or saying that I would buy another one again. So I do like this enough that I would buy another one again. I also know that regular viewers of mine who have not been keeping up with me are probably like, wait, whose channel am I on? Now that I've talked about a product that I really love that surprised me, let's talk about the icon. I guess this is the Bisou Balm. I feel like the first time I heard of Violette FR's brand, that's like the Bisou Balms were kind of like the thing. I don't know if this is the first product that she launched, but I think a lot of the hype expanded from here. I really think that the packaging is pretty. I like it. It feels fancy. It's not weighted or anything, but it feels fancy. And the inside of the bullet is also quite pretty. The beige packaging, the off-white packaging, I feel indifferent to it in general. That's a choice. Off-white as your branding is a choice. It's very millennial coded, it feels to me. It both feels evergreen and not in some ways. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. These are $30. It comes in 9 different shades. The brand claims that it provides sheer color, it's a hydrating matte, and it has a blurring effect. And I didn't know any of those going into it. I do, when I try brands, I like to go in blind. If you're doing a first impressions, especially for your members and patrons, sometimes you get a good gag, positive or negative. Like you'll try something and I'm like, whoa, whoa, that was so great. Whoa, that was not good at all. I can't believe it. I didn't really know what these were, and I thought they were just lip balms. I feel like matte lip balms are kind of in vogue right now. I feel like a lot of brands over the last couple of years have kind of put them out. But like, I wasn't aware that was like a thing that we wanted, like a matte lip balm. I was on a trip in Chicago with my sister Cam. Cam has a channel, it's Clove Room. I will try to remember to link it down below. And we were in a Sephora and there was a Violette FR end cap. And I think I was poo-pooing. If we recheck the vlog footage, I think that I was kind of poo-pooing the brand. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I didn't know then that I would be pursuing this brand as a full brand review. We tried their very popular and at the time elusive shade, Calisson. We both swatched it. And on her, it looked like a nude. And on me, on my wrist, because that's where we swatched them, it kind of looked like highlighter orange. And I was like, ugh. oh, everyone says that their neutral brown is gonna look good on me. And so I was like looking through the shades. So at the top of the video, I did mention that like I was trying to explore color here. You'll see throughout the other products that I did explore color. This was the last thing I added to cart, and I did want a neutral lip color. I wanted something that I felt like I would be compelled to go back to again and again. I was like, well, I've swatched Calisson, and I was like, I'm gonna buy the shade. I'm gonna put it on in my video, and I'm gonna put it on in my channel. I'm gonna be like, doesn't look good on me. It turns orange on me because my skin tone turns everything orange. Everything's orange on my skin. I sit down in my first impressions video, and I put it on, and I immediately love it. The blurring that I'm incredibly impressed with. I love blurring products. As I get older, my lips have more fine lines on them and around them. And so having like blurring products to go on my lips is really nice. A lot of times though, you're sacrificing comfort for blur. I think whatever ingredients you need to like blur skin, to blur lips, they tend to be drying. It didn't turn orange on me. It's very sheer color, but it kind of like muted my lip tone. I have very pigmented lips. Like every lip color I'm putting on my lips, it is fighting the pigment of my lips. So when I put this on, it kind of like canceled out my lip color, and it was cool. I really liked it. Kind of became like high-key obsessed with this product, okay? And I don't wear it a ton though, versus some of the other lip products we're about to talk about, but I do really like it. The only thing that I didn't love about it is that it is matte. It's not an uncomfortable matte. It's a sheer matte lipstick is how I would describe it. You are sacrificing a little bit of comfort, but of these like sheer matte lip products that I have tried, it to me is the most comfortable. I've heard from some other people that they disagree with that. Like that's not their experience. Something about my chemistry and my body. This is the best version of it I've tried. But it is called a balm. You could not take this out as your like lip product to hydrate your lips. It's not that kind of product. So you have to think about it as like a matte sheer lipstick. One day I was out and about when it was colder out and drier out in Pittsburgh. My lips were not looking good at the end of the day after like this being the only lip product. Like my lips were dry and flaky. So you do kind of have to like play the game of like maybe every other application, like, or you like bring the balm and then you can put it on top and then you can kind of make your own like lip stain glossy thing, which is also something you could do. But if you prepped your lips for like lipstick and this, and you weren't going to take it as your lip balm throughout the day, I think it's really beautiful, and I really like it for that. I do want more shades of it. And I think that's a high compliment because, like I said, I already don't really care about lip products. One of my rules, kind of as a makeup buyer and as someone who has historically suffered the want of buying like all the colors in something after I like it, that impulse has really died in me. But there's something about like some of these formulas from Violette that have sparked like I want more colors of this because it's like really easy. It's really easy. It's like it's a beautiful way to apply some color. There's like life to your lips, but you didn't have to try too hard. It's nothing fussy about it. I really like it. $30 is kind of steep, but I do think it's worth it. I think this is like a very good version of like a lip blurring formula if you can handle a little bit of that matte feeling. It's not super uncomfortable, but it is there. And think of it as a lipstick and not a balm. And I think you will really get on with it. I really love this. I really, really love this. But the first product that really stole my heart whenever I tried it are the Plume Lips. These are $31 each. They are ultra blurring. They're also a hydrating matte. The brand also says it's an effortless application. It comes in 5 shades. I have 2 of them. It did not always have 2. I just said about the Bisou Balm that I hadn't picked a like neutral shade of it. So whenever I was picking the Plume Lip originally, I was like, I should pick one of her reds. I had passively heard that the reds in her brand are supposed to be like really easy to wear red lip colors. And yes, like everyone's, even myself, it's like I will wear a red lip, but it's like the idea of wearing a red lip is like scary sometimes, even though I'm not really scared of it. It's just like I will often not choose to wear a red lip because it feels like fussy for some reason for me. So the first shade I bought was the shade Mon Chéri, and that was what I tried in my first impressions video. And I love this formula. It is the best matte liquid lipstick I've ever tried. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I don't really like liquid lipsticks, and I don't like matte lips a lot of the time either. So needless to say, whenever I was trying this product, I was like not really sure about it. It's the blur. It's really the blur. So if you apply it very opaquely, it will look more like a full coverage liquid lipstick. But how I like to wear it is I'll just apply some in the center of my lip and I'll just like blend it out to the edges, and it blurs my lips. It's a sheer color. It's gorgeous. I really like it. It does kind of the same effect of the Bisou Balm when I apply it that way, but it doesn't feel as drying as the Bisou Balm does on my lips. These are way more comfortable in my opinion. They are not like transfer proof. I don't care about that. I'm not kissing anyone right now. I don't plan on kissing anyone. And I also think if I was kissing someone, I would have a little bit of the self-respect to like take it off before we started making out. And it's like a full of lipstick on a glass, on a straw. I don't care about that. But it doesn't get all over the place for me. It's just like, you know, it's like a little bit of transfer. After a while, I have no issues with it. Like it doesn't really transfer after it like wears on the lips for a while. Fully opaque, it's really beautiful. This red color is super wearable. It was what was on my lips before I put on the lip balm, and now it's like this interesting combination that's happening on my lips. That was what I was wearing. I love this. These are the products that I have like gone back to the testing drawer time and time again. Anytime I was setting up for a video, anytime I was going out with friends, this was the lip product that I was like wanting to wear because it just wears so beautifully. Not only does it wear beautifully, it wears off beautifully. Every time I've eaten with it, when I was done, you could tell I had like a lip product on, but it all had faded really gorgeously, and it reapplies super evenly and easily after you've eaten or something like that. I think there are a lot of brands that have products that are similar to this. This brand makes a lot of romantic shades, like pinks and reds and browns. So they're very like, a lot of people will wear a pink lip, they'll wear a nude lip, they'll wear, and like a lot of people do like to wear a red on the daily. That's like the colors that they make. I would love to see her take on like a grungier color. I think that would be really interesting because I do love this formula. I like all of the shades. I've swatched them all many times. I don't need them all, but they are very beautiful. I really like them. Obviously, I bought a second one I've been holding up too. This is the shade Chataigne. I'm not really sure how to say it. And this is like the nudie shade. Just like the shade Calisson in the Balm. I was like, this shade's probably going to pull orange on me. It's definitely warm. I'm not going to say that's like a true neutral, but it's not like turning super orange like I thought it was, because whenever I was looking at the imagery online when I was making my selections at first, I was like, I'm fairly certain that's gonna like look orange on me. It's a really beautiful nude and I'm glad I have it, and I reached for both shades. So I also kind of feared that now that I had a neutral shade, I might leave Mon Chéri in the back and I'd be like, I'm never gonna wear a red again. That was not what happened. I actually reached for Mon Chéri more than I actually reached for the more nudie shade. The way that she's put these colors together, she's done it really smart. I've never in my testing of any of these products have ever felt like I put stuff on and it like clashed. It all kind of goes together. And I think it's the choice of colors, and I think that's really smart, because sometimes you'll buy stuff from a brand, and I've done this historically, where I will like buy a ton of products to try from a brand, and I will think there'll be colors that go together and they clash, but there's just something so effortless about all of the choices she's made as far as colors. Like if you wear all stuff from her line, you're not going to rub up against like feeling like there's going to be clashing colors on your face. And I think that's really interesting. I don't know if she did it on purpose, but that's always how I've felt wearing all of this. So like sometimes I'll wear this red lip with another face of makeup that's not all Violette FR, and I'll be really impressed because I'm like, wow, that red lip looks really at home here, natural, and like not clashing with the rest of my makeup, even though like I might have a louder eye on or a louder cheek on. It just pulls stuff together very beautifully. This is a resounding yes for me. These are really great. You have to understand that they are a liquid lipstick, but they are, in my opinion, the absolute perfect version of a liquid lip. I love these. I know I've already talked about so many lip products, but there is one more formula that we have to discuss, and it's the Petal Bouche. These are also $31. They only come in 3 shades. And the brand says that they are a velveteen matte, they are richly pigmented, and they are a lightweight buildable color. She got me, gal, with the liquid lips. I don't like liquid lips, like historically. It's not something that I really love. But she's got me feeling romantic about wearing red lips. So I have 2 of the shades. The last shade is more of like a pinky red. One's a darker brick red, and then one is like a blue red. I wasn't even sure if I was going to buy one of these ones because it felt like the most basic formula. But after I heard her, like I said, I was going through TikTok or Reels and I heard her talk about her red lips and how like, she was like, they're just like kind of meant to be like, these colors are very specifically chosen because it's like, they're going to look good on you. And I think that's a lot of the problems people run into with a red lip is like, that undertone doesn't work. That blah, blah, it's like, I know. And obviously, like, maybe the undertones won't work for you. I don't know. But I was swept up in it. Like, I was like, okay, girl, I'm gonna try. I'll try it. I think the first one I bought was Amorphu, which I think is, what is this one? This one's like a blue red. Think Ruby Woo from MAC is a good touch point for this. This formula is really beautiful. It does feel more like a traditional liquid lipstick to me than the Plume Lip does. It doesn't feel as special as the Plume Lip feels to me. This product is really poorly reviewed on Sephora. I don't understand. I actually don't understand why. And I think it maybe comes down to the fact that I don't like wearing a liquid lip, and she has somehow made a formula of a liquid lipstick that I do enjoy wearing. And I enjoyed wearing it so much that I went back to and I bought another one in a different shade. I do really like them. I think perhaps this does come down to transferring. I do feel like these are actually messier in my opinion than the Plume Lip. I felt like they're a little harder to work with, and they require special attention when you're applying them. I did not do the best job applying them in the footage of the close-up, so for you to see the shade. But what I will say is that was like an hour and a half of swatching all of these products back to back to back. My face is shaved, and that's not something I was doing for a very long time. So I am now getting used to the fact that staying in the lip line or making sure that I'm making a lip line that is defined is important. I don't have that skill built up at this time. So I will say that the footage is sloppy, but I do really like these. But if you like liquid lips, I don't think you will like them because, like I said, they are very poorly rated on Sephora. But they're not bulletproof. There are like just liquid lips. They're very comfortable versions of a liquid lip. They feel nice on the lips for them being liquid lipsticks. And I think these reds just work for me. Anytime I've worn them in a video, anytime I've worn them out and about, I get compliments on them. I think a lot of times though, when you wear a red lip, you're going to get a compliment even if it's like a $5 red lipstick. It's just a matter of like the idea that you had the gall and gumption to wear a red lip. I think that's where the compliments are coming from, not so much that it's exactly this lip formula. And I have worn these multiple times willingly. I have gone and chosen to wear them. I do think they are a little, because they are more present and more opaque than the Plume Lips or the Balm. I do think it matters how the rest of my makeup looks, but I have on occasion purposefully done my makeup very muted on the rest of my face just for the red lip to be the purpose of it. So when it comes to that $31 price point, I'm not sure it's worth it. And there might be better lipsticks on the market, but I think that these are really well done lipsticks. And if you are looking for a liquid lip, but I would recommend the Plume Lips over this. And if you wear these fully opaque, you'll get a similar vibe to these. You'll have more options than these. And I don't know, I really love these. That's what I'll say. I really like these. I like them enough to buy another shade, which is also saying something because that's not something I often do. But it's like also I understand that like not everyone's going to want this. They didn't change my life the way the Plume Lip did. I feel like the Plume Lip did change my thoughts on some liquid lip formulas. But I still think these are really lovely. And we've made it all the way here. This is the last product I have to talk about with you today, and it's the only skincare product I bought from the brand. It's the Boum-Boum Milk. This size was $64. There is a mini version, and there's also like a refill bag that you can get to refill this. And I think the refill bag will refill this 2 times. I was actually between 2 different brands for a brand review, and I had just run out of the milky toner from Ilia, or I was about to be out of it. So I needed another milky toner. In the summertime, I don't really use milky toners as much, but in the wintertime, I need as much hydration as I can get. I have very oily skin, but in the wintertime, I'm noticing as I'm getting older that the dryness of the winter affects my skin a lot more than it ever has. So I have to really baby my skin in the wintertime, and I know that, but it's getting warmer here, so I don't need another milky toner right now. So I'm holding off. I've been recommended many times the one from Haru Wonder. I started with the Rhode one. That was the first one I tried, and I really like the Rhode one. Elf bought Rhode, and now I feel weird buying from Rhode. I mean, also I felt weird buying from Rhode kind of at the beginning because it's like, why is Hailey Bieber Rhode? So, you know, but then I really ended up really liking that milky toner. I don't like really anything else I tried from Rhode, but that product really stuck out and did a lot for my skin. Was using that for a while. Elf bought Rhode, and then I tried the Ilia one, which is about the same price point as this, maybe a few dollars cheaper, closer to $60, or maybe it's like in the mid $50. When it comes to skincare, my rule is I want my skincare to cost about $10 a month per product. I don't want everything to be $10, actually. It's like if a product is $20, I want it to last me at least 2 months. If a product is $30, I want it to last at least 3 months, so on and so forth. And depending on how much that does for my skin, I am willing to bump it up closer to like $15 a month too, if I'm feeling like my skin really likes it. So that's what we were looking up. I kind of assumed that this product was going to be good. This is like one of their hero products. I know a lot of people have it in their skincare routine. It's in a spray bottle. All of the other ones I've mentioned are like toners. You have to like pat out this, but this was a spray bottle. When I bought this, it was like one of two things will be true. I will either use less of the product and it will last me longer because it is a spray nozzle, or I will use it faster because of the spray nozzle. And I just wasn't sure how much product would disperse more. Like, am I more generous this way, or am I more generous with sprays? When I do setting spray at the end of the makeup look, I'm very generous with the amount I spray. This only lasted me 2.5 months. And that means that it was about $30 a month for this product. No way. Too expensive for me. I really liked it. The spray on this was really beautiful. It was really even and it was really nice. But I think the Ilia one plumped my skin more and made my skin more moisturized than this one did, which is maybe why I also sprayed more than I needed to, because it was like the Ilia I was getting more out of applying it. The Ilia lasted me about 4 months, 3 or 4 months. So it got closer to that $10, but it wasn't so good that I felt like I would want to rebuy the Ilia. But if I was going to spend this much money again, I would choose the Ilia over this one because I just felt like it plumped my skin more. It made my skin more moisturized in the dry winter. This was fine. And I think that at $64 fine isn't good enough. I didn't see that much of a difference. But I do want to say one of my members or patrons, I don't remember which one it was, and I don't remember the name of the person. It says it's like a moisturizer, like you can use it like as anything. They were like, one time I was really sick, and a lot of people when they're sick, their skincare is kind of the first part that goes out the window. It's like, I'm saving energy. What am I not doing my skincare? Well, they had said that like this was the only thing that they were washing their face and using this, and it was like the only way for them to get to use their skincare because the spray is so easy. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense to me. If you have oily skin, this might work as a moisturizer. It's, you know, I don't think it's going to be enough of a moisturizer for someone with dry skin, but you could use it in such a way. So I think in that way, like you could, but you could also do it with any milky toner. You could do it with the e.l.f. one. I know that there are a lot of other milky toners. I just am not willing to spend $64 on this. It didn't change my life. Wasn't that great. It was good, it was fine, but not $64 is too much for fine. $64 is too much for 2 months. And I just want to like kind of reiterate, because you're like probably like, that doesn't make any sense. One time I bought a La Mer resurfacing toner, and it was like exfoliating toner. I got it on sale. It was Rouge at Sephora, and I think I paid $120 for it. And that lasted me 8 months. It helped my skin so much, and I was like, I probably won't buy it again immediately, and I haven't bought it since. But like, it was worth it to me. Like 8 months, it lasted a really long time. I wasn't burning through it. So like, there are moments where I would spend that much money. That's all the stuff I have to review for you. I hope you found it helpful. Kind of a wrapping up, the brand ended up being exactly what I thought it was going to be. Colorful makeup for people who maybe are too afraid to wear color, don't want to wear a ton of color, or looking for a way to maybe ease back into colorful makeup. I think they've really done that. I don't know if that was like one of their goals in making the brand, but I think they succeeded at that. So I think a lot of you are in a similar boat to me. I know I have a lot of people who watch my channel regularly that are very into indie makeup and are wearing bright and colorful makeup. But I also know a lot of people watch my channel that are very into luxury makeup and maybe are more afraid of color, but maybe some of you want to explore color. I think this is a good place to start, especially if it's in your budget. Some of the stuff I wouldn't buy again, some of the stuff I would buy again, some of the stuff I want like every color, and like that's a rarity for me. I'm very pleased with my experience with this brand, and it's definitely something that I'm excited to watch what they choose to release next. It seems like they're very thoughtful and curated with what they do choose to release. I would love to see some expansions on some of the shade ranges, some more nuanced, beautiful, romantic shades. I really like it. I think that they do a really good job. I think Violette's vision really came to life with this, and I think it's really great. And we love to see it. In this day and age, I feel like a lot of brands are really lost in the sauce, like what is their brand? But I think Violette FR is it's very clear what they're doing, and I think they do it very well. That's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching this very long brand review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you happen to be new here and you did make it all the way to the end, something must have stuck with you, and I would love for you to hit the subscribe button down below and stick around to see what else I do on this channel. Thank you again to my patrons and members. You were the reason that this was able to happen. I really appreciate it. If you would like to support further brand reviews, the best way to do that is to join channel members or Patreon. But if you don't have the money for that and you just want to stick around as a regular viewer, that's totally fine. No pressure to join my Patreon or channel memberships. As I said and acknowledged at the beginning of the video, I know that times are tough for a lot of people right now. It's crazy, and there's a lot going on right now. Speaking of that, I will have a pinned comment. In that pinned comment, there will be links to 5calls.org to make calls to tell your representatives that you don't want this war in Iran. There's going to be links to help people in Gaza. There's going to be links to help people in Sudan. There's going to be links to help people in Minnesota who are affected by ICE. I know that ICE is kind of everywhere in the United States, but I feel like I keep reading that there's still a lot of stuff going on in Minnesota, so I continue to leave that link in my pinned comments. If you have any excess money to help any of those causes, please consider donating to them. That's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so happy to be back to filming. You don't even know. Like, this was such a treat for me. It was long. I've been filming for 2 hours, but it was so worth it. I'm so happy to be back. Anyway, to any of my subscribers who made it to the end, we'll talk about my face and the eyebrows in another video to get you caught up. I already talked to patrons and members about it, but I will get you caught up too in another playing with makeup video. Anyway, there will be recommendations for other content from me, and I will see you in a video again very soon. Remember to follow your heart, and you'll find me. Go forth, 'tis out.